Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I am glad you are here today with me as I cool down from my 5K run on this very warm and somewhat rainy December day. The weather here does not make sense. Anyway, I thought I would take this opportunity to look over what my goals were for 2021. Did I meet them? And what are my goals for 2022? But first, if you are not subscribed, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the running content that I have coming out all the time. Now, if you will look up here, you're gonna find a link to a video that I put out back in January talking about what my goals were for the year 2021. And in that video, I talked about 3 main goals that I had for my running. Goal number 1 was to complete a marathon. At the time when I put out the video, the Little Rock Marathon had just been postponed to November, and at that point we didn't even know if November was going to happen. So things were not looking good, but if you will look up here, you will see my video from where I completed the Little Rock Marathon, thus crossing my first marathon finish line. So goal number 1, check. Goal number 2 was to get a PB on my half marathon time. Now, due to obvious COVID restrictions, there were not a lot of road races available around here. And so anything over a 5K pretty much just did not happen over the course of this year. So with no half marathons readily available for me to run, I was not able to work on that. And I was trying to throw all of my focus into being ready for the marathon. So goal number 2 did not happen. Goal number 3 was to get started in trail running. It's something that I'd been talking about for a long time and just didn't have the nerve to just jump in and do it. But if you will look up here, you're gonna find my trail running playlist, including where I finished my first trail race. So I was able to do that this year. Goal number 3, check. So now that we've taken a look at what I had planned in 2021 and whether or not it happened, let's look ahead at what I would like to do in 2022. My first goal for 2022 is getting back to that half marathon goal from 2021. I would like to work on that PB. Now that I have gotten that marathon goal out of the way, I can pull back now and start focusing more on half marathons again. And more importantly, I would like to start working towards the overall goal in my running that I have of trying to run a race in every state, preferably a half marathon. So that's one of my goals, is to start working on that half marathon time again and start looking for more opportunities to go to other states and run a half marathon. Moving on to goal number 2 for 2022, I would like to continue trail racing, and I would kind of like to make it a goal to complete a 25K trail race. Now I'm gonna have to do some looking around to see what I can find. I know that there's one that's fairly popular that happens in the summer, but it is an overnight race, and I am super scared of running a trail race in the dark. So I'm gonna have to do some looking around and especially find one that's maybe not quite as challenging as the trail race that I ran earlier this year, because that last hill nearly killed me. Now that I have some actual trail running experience under my belt and I have a place where I can regularly run on trails, that's something that I'd like to explore a little further. My next goal for 2022 is one that came from something that happened earlier this year. I was trying to shake things up in the middle of my marathon training, do something a little different, and so I was trying to do a 5K PB. I did not hit my goal. I was so close, but everything was working against me that day. So I'd like to take another run at it. So my next goal is to complete a 5K in under 27 minutes. This means I'm going to have to get over my aversion to speed drills and learn to love them. In addition to those goals, I would also like to establish a few better habits. Now, these are not specific goals because I haven't quite figured out what I want these to look like, what the end goal would be. But they are habits that I would like to incorporate more often. Number 1 would be to get back in the habit of strength training. Again, I'm not really sure what this is going to look like, but I would like to start dedicating at least 2 days a week to getting some strength training in. I have fallen off of that in the past few months just because things have been very, very busy and there's been no time to fit it in. I need to find a way to fit that in because it can only make my running better. I would also like to get more in the habit of utilizing the tracks that we have here in town in order to get some workouts in, specifically some speed drills and things like that. There are several schools here that have tracks that are open to the public, and so I need to be taking advantage of those more often just so I can kind of measure things a little more easily. So there you have it. Those are my goals for the year 2022. What are your goals for the next year, running or otherwise? Why don't you let me know down in the comments below. This is your second reminder that if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing, and we would love to have you here in the Geek Den. If you are subscribed, make sure that you comment and like and maybe share this with others. We would love to have more people join us here. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are going to be down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for being here. So glad you could join me. Can't wait to see you next time. Happy running.